So we're ready to go? Okay. Good morning, everyone. I'd like to welcome everybody to our Thursday, November 2nd, 2023 Appeals Tribunal. And I'm going to turn it over to our coordinator.
Good morning. My name is Jacob Galveo, Appeal Tribunal Coordinator for the Township of Ramera. I welcome you to the Appeal Tribunal hearing held on November 2nd, 2023 at the Ramera Council Chamber. I will begin with roll call of the tribunal. Member and Chair Joe Goff.
Present.
Member Anne Belanger.
Present.
Member Norman Scarrett is absent today. Member Randy Warren.
Present.
And Member Robert Kay. Members of staff that are present include John Popple, Manager of Community Standards and Recreation, Mike Downing, Senior Bylaw Enforcement Officer, and Eric Cecil, Municipal Bylaw Enforcement Officer. Today, the tribunal will hear appeal files 2023-11, 12, and 13 regarding administrative monetary penalties under Township of Ramera Bylaw 2020.11, a bylaw to license, regulate, and govern short-term rental accommodation uses as amended. Anyone in attendance that is not listed as a party to these files are respectfully asked to refrain from comment during the hearing. Decisions of the tribunal will be released in writing no later than 15 business days after the hearing is complete. This tribunal does not have the authority to award costs based on the proceedings, and any other procedural inquiry should be directed to the tribunal coordinator or municipal clerk. We'll now pass the meeting back to Joe to begin.
Thank you. First item on the agenda is the adoption of the agenda. Item 2.1, the recommendation that the Ramera Appeals Tribunal agenda dated November 2nd, 2023 be adopted as presented. Can I have somebody move that, please? Rob and Ann, all in favor? That is moved. Next item on the agenda is the adoption of minutes. Item 3.1. For the Appeals Tribunal dated September 13th, 2023, and the Appeals Tribunal dated October 11th, 2023. The recommendation that the Ramera Appeals Tribunal meetings minutes dated September 13th and October 11th, 2023 be adopted as presented. Can I have somebody move that? So moved. Randy, Robert, all in favor? That is passed, carried. Is there any disclosure of pecuniary interest from any member?
None on my part.
Tribunal. And if you somehow during the meeting, if something comes up, we'll deal with it then. And I guess we're going to move right on to item 5.1, the Appeal Tribunal hearing file number 2023-11 regarding administrative monetary penalty in accordance with bylaw 2020.11. Recommendation that the Ramera Appeals Tribunal held a hearing regarding file 2023-11 and an administrative monetary penalty in accordance with bylaw 23 as amended, and that the appellant be advised of the tribunal's decision in writing. Can I have somebody move that, please, to put it on the floor so we can discuss it? Randy, Robert, all in favor? That is on the floor now, and I guess I'm going to go look at our coordinator swearing everybody.
So Marcus, if you'd like to come to the podium there and turn on the mic.
Just push the.
So you just push the button there.
Okay. Thank you.
So Marcus, please state your name for the record.
My name is Marcus Giesler.
Perfect. Do you solemnly declare and affirm that the evidence you will provide to the tribunal will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth today?
I do.
Perfect. Now I believe that John or do you want to run them through this?
Perfect. So, Mr. Chair, I've had the opportunity to talk to my friend, Mr. Giesler, prior to the hearing. And during those discussions, and I'll get Mr. Giesler to confirm this for the committee, but he is not challenging the evidence of the officer. So he is, and I won't put words in his mouth, I'll allow him to confirm this, but he is admitting that there was an online advertisement for his property. So I don't feel it's necessary that we call the officer, take the committee through the hearing to debate something that Mr. Giesler is fully prepared to admit to today. He does have some very relevant information for the committee to consider when they deliberate on this matter. And I'm certainly aware of what these points are. I've had an opportunity to talk to Mr. Giesler on the phone some time ago and today. So I won't be necessarily objecting to what he's bringing forward. It's not necessarily evidence, it's just the story as to what led him down this path to being before us today. So if Mr. Giesler can just provide comment that you are agreeable to waiving the hearing portion of today and just simply moving into your opportunity to
Address us.
address in terms of, I'm going to say in terms of the penalty at this point, really.
Okay.
I
Would you like to-
I'm agreeable to such a step in the procedure. Again, good morning, esteemed members of this committee. Officer Popple is correct in the assessment that the evidence is indisputable. However, there's important nuance to the context that led us down this erroneous path, my wife and I, that I hope I have a chance to briefly comment on in front of you as a document that briefly summarizes those circumstances. My wife and I bought a family cottage because we both grew up in an environment of family cottages. And while we were hoping to maybe occasionally rent out such cottage to help with the down payment and the mortgage, we were completely unaware of the fact that the policy framework of the Township of Romera is in fact not allowing us to do so. Now you might wonder, why would we be thinking that we can buy a cottage and make such a mistake? The mistake we made has 4 reasons principally that are outlined in the document. Our background and motivation is already the first, which I mentioned to you. This cottage was primarily for personal recreational use. But beyond that, there are 3 other important reasons that I hope I have a chance to briefly discuss with you. The second was the information we received from the seller and the seller's agent. The seller and the previous owner of the cottage has a website, which is still online, where he offers the cottage for short-term rental. So when we became interested in this cottage, the seller's agent presented us with this website, leading us to believe that it was very appropriate and very, very okay to do short-term rentals. We now know it's not. Still, the website is online. You can find it. We did our own policy research, and if you come to the Township of Romera as an outsider, as we did, it's hard to decipher where the Township of Romera ends and the Kawartha Lakes Township begins. As you know, the policy situation in both townships differs markedly. We were under the false impression that we were in a township and in a policy context within which short-term rentals were possible. Again, in good faith. The third reason is the policy research that we undertook. We even called the township of Kawartha Lakes, or we call it Kawartha Lakes, which, as you know, recently rolled out a policy that until the end of this year is in a sort of like trial state. We adopted the policy narrative in our own policy documents, which we were hoping to share with whoever would be interested in being a short-term renter. So this is evidence available to you. So it shows that we again acted in good faith, thinking that we were in fact in Kawartha Lakes, not in the Township of Romera. If you look at the map, our property is like really literally at the border between the two jurisdictions, which probably adds to the confusion. And then the fourth is the Romera welcome package, which we received, which made no mention of the short-term rental policy and penalty. So all of this led us to believe that we were acting in good faith and that we were in fact not breaking any laws, except for the occasional parking ticket. Neither my wife nor I have ever had any conflict with the law, nor have we ever incurred a penalty larger than $50. So I would kindly ask for the penalty to be lifted. My family and I have come to this community to make a contribution, not to make any trouble, and I sincerely apologize for the difficulties and the problems that our error has caused to you, to the municipality, and to Officer John Popple and his team. I hope after this matter has been put behind us, we can be community members, making a positive contribution and being upstanding in the days to come. All of the comments that I've just made are, again, in the documents that you have in front of you. And that is all I have to say.
Okay,
And I'm here to answer your questions, of course.
Robert. You have to turn on your mic, Robert.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. What is your address, sir?
Our address is 1342 Black Beach Lane.
In what municipality?
It says Brecken
Yes?
when you type it into Google.
And Brecken, as you know, is in Ramara.
I do know that now, and I sincerely apologize for not having been more versed in sort of determining this before
When you
this happened.
received the welcome package from
Yes.
Ramara, had you
Yes.
been charged yet under the bylaw?
No, as far as I know, we received the welcome package before the charge happened.
So did that not tell you that you were not in Kawartha Lakes?
It did not, and here's why. Because we came into this community and there's a multiplicity of data points that affected our perception around what is acceptable and what is unacceptable, including signage on the roads, including information that we had from the seller's agent, including the way the seller represented the property to us, including the information that our agent collected, as well as we collected in conjunction with this purchase decision. So on balance, we thought we were doing the right thing. We thought we were acting in good faith. Have we made a mistake? Absolutely. Should I have known this better? Should my wife have known this better? Absolutely. But I think that, you know, hindsight is 20/20, and I'm here to apologize for the mistake I made. I certainly at no point in time had the intention of running a commercial short-term rental enterprise out of this cottage anyways, but be that as it may, the situation presented itself to us in the manner it did. And I think the data that I presented to you today shows that we acted in good faith.
Did you have a lawyer acting for your real estate closing, sir?
Yes, we did.
And did you read the documents that you signed for your lawyer?
Yes, we did.
And on those documents, it didn't tell you where you were? What
They-
township?
Once again, they told us where we were, but it is again for outsiders not immediately apparent that these municipalities differ so much.
Well, that's what I'm trying to understand, sir. I'm trying to understand why you would continuously refer back to Kawartha Lakes
Yes,
when it seems that you knew that you were in the township of Ramara.
our closing documents, my wife is with me on Zoom. She's at home with our newborn. We have a 7-week-old baby. This is all very unfortunate. It says, my wife says, it did not say Township of Ramara, it said Brecken. So for us, again, as newcomers, this is probably more an example of how when you navigate a new space, you make mistakes that you don't make intentionally. But I live in Toronto. Many people confuse the two neighborhoods, Forest Hill and Castleloma, all the time. If you don't live there, then it's hard for you to decipher exactly where the one ends and the other begins. Now we know better, and I sincerely apologize for the mistake I made, but erring as human, and I think I am very convinced here that we did not do this on purpose. We did
Thank
not.
you, thank you,
We
sir.
did not mislead the township on purpose.
Thank you.
I have one question for you.
Sure.
Did you come up and actually look at the cottage before you purchased it?
Yes, we did.
Okay, so you know there's road signs,
Yes.
and what does it say on the
Yes.
roadside? Does
My
it
wife
say
and I,
Township of Ramara, or does
my
Kawartha
wife and
Lakes?
I were discussing this point exactly. We did take a close look at the road signs in and around the cottage, and they say Ramara. But down the road, it says Kawartha Lakes. So the signage again,
But if it says Ramara, would it not be logical to assume that you are in Ramera, not Kawartha Lakes?
Yes, with the information that and knowledge that we have now, again, we learned about
Even
this.
as you were looking at the cottage and the sign says Ramera?
We
Not
before
assume that it
closing,
would be Ramera?
respectfully, we did not inspect up close the road signs. Because again, when you have a sales agent that promotes the cottage as a place that you can rent out, then you go with that information because you act in good faith. So should we have had a closer look at the road signs in retrospect? Absolutely. Did we at the time? No. Did we have reason at the time not to? Because we were acting in good faith within a real estate transaction where both the sales agent and our agent are sort of like responsibilized to do the right thing for their respective clients, yes. But again, I think on balance, if you take the totality of data that we had available at the time before closing, you will see that a buyer who comes in from another part of Ontario and sees that there is a seller who has rented out the cottage for a very long time, and the sales agent says, of course, it's possible to rent out the cottage. You act in good faith. And then
Okay,
we
but-
made the phone call to the Kawartha Lakes municipality.
But don't you think that a lot of this onus is on you, not on your real estate?
I think
The
the onus is on both the buyer and the seller as well as their representative agents. I think the agents are a little bit responsible for that information as well. Again, the website lazyerlife.ca is still up where you can see the cottage being offered as a short-term rental.
Okay,
I find that problematic.
I think we're just gonna go around in circles here because unless anybody else has any more questions.
I just have one question. Once this matter is cleared up, sir, are you
Yes.
going to apply for a short-term rental
No,
license?
I'm not. And in fact, I talked to John about this. This was not the original purpose of our purchase.
Okay,
Again, this is a family cottage. This is for us as a family primarily. Would we have liked to have some help with the mortgage? Yes. If and as long as that is legal, I think that's a legitimate kind of a model or path to go down on. This is not our intention, and it's, I think, my understanding, not even possible to do that.
Because of
That's
the 300
correct.
meter.
Currently, he's blocked by another licensed location, so
Okay.
he's not able to apply.
Okay, Anne?
Mr. Geisler, did you rent the cottage during the summer?
We rented it once during the period that we were under the assumption that we were in the Kawartha Lakes municipality.
Thank you.
okay, the,
Randy?
What?
Go ahead.
the real estate people that told it had been rented, it may have been rented for in excess of 28 days, which wouldn't have necessitated a short-term rental.
You can, the website states that you can rent it per night, per week, per long weekend, per short weekend. This is information that would suggest that it is a short-term rental, but I would like to add one point. My wife and I bought this cottage while we were 8 and 9 months respectively pregnant. Should our information research have been more perfect than it turned out to be? Absolutely, but if you like, I'm sure you have been expecting parents, there are several competing responsibilities that you have in addition to the workplace. We acted in good faith. We tried everything we could. We called the Kawartha Lakes municipality, asking them if we did the right thing. They should have told us probably that this is not falling within their province, but they did not. And so we acted in good faith and made a severe mistake. And I apologize again.
If you had given Kawartha Lakes your address, they would
Yeah.
have told you right away that you weren't a resident of Kawartha Lakes when you
Yeah.
inquired. That was one thing about it. I mean, you've been led astray, but I really feel the real estate agent, if he knows it was short-term, if it had been short-term rentals, he should have known that there was a license that was necessary, and he should have indicated that to you.
We said to the Kawartha Lakes office that we are at Lake Dalrymple. And they said that we should not worry about the policy until the new year because there's a soft rollout.
Yeah, well, see, part of Lake Dalrymple's on Fourth.
I know
and
that's,
part of it's in
we know
Rivera.
this
That's
is,
the
I know,
confusing
and I sincerely
portion.
apologize. I sincerely apologize. The policy document that we created, and this is what the document states here is, please note that you must be a minimum of 25 years of age as per Kawartha's short-term rental bylaws. Please do not book if you're not able to verify this with an ID. Renters are responsible for penalties incurred in violation of any local bylaws. So clearly, we were under the impression that that's the applicable bylaw. Did we make a mistake? Yes.
Okay, thank you, sir, for your information.
Mr. Popple, do you have anything?
At this point, I'm gonna leave it in the hands of the committee to determine. They've certainly heard the information from Mr. Geezer. The officer did find online advertising, and I will just like to state that the online advertising that was found in relation to this fine was not the website maintained by the previous property owner. It was a new advertisement that Mr. Geisler created on Airbnb. So there are two different advertisements, just for clarity. But I will
And
leave it.
have we taken action to take down the original one that Mr. Geisler was?
I was unaware until this matter, the
Okay.
hearing transpired. So we will take note of that to ensure that that's taken down. I would suggest that it's also in the best interest of Mr. Geisler to contact the former property owner, as ultimately you're responsible for the property. So if somebody's advertising your property that they don't own for rent, then they should really be deactivating
But
that
John, you
website.
did see the previous website as well, right? With your own eyes.
I understand. Yes, I have seen it.
The website does exist, and the website was presented to us. I'm happy to share that as well by the sales agent as evidence of the short-term rentability of the cottage.
Yep.
Robert?
I'm a little confused. So at the present time, there are two advertisements for the same property. Is that correct?
No, Mr. Geisler has deactivated his advertisement that he created. So there is one advertisement that's owned and maintained by the previous property owner who has no attachment to the property anymore.
And for which advertisement was he charged?
The one he created.
All right, thank you.
But importantly, there's precedent. Historically, there's another website that preceded ours.
Two wrongs don't make a right, sir.
I know,
Right.
but the context is important.
Okay, thank you very much for your time. We will have a discussion of this in closed session and you'll be informed as to our decision. Thank you very much, sir. Excuse me. Next item on the agenda is item 5.2. The Appeals Tribunal hearing files number 2023-12 and 2023-13 regarding an administrative monetary penalties in accordance with bylaw 2020.11. Recommendation that the Romero Appeals Tribunal held a hearing regarding files 2023-12 and 2023-13 and administrative monetary penalties in accordance with bylaw 2020.11, and that the appellant be advised of the tribunal's decision in writing. Can somebody move that and put it on the floor?
So moved, Mr.
Randy,
Chair.
seconded by Ann. All in favor? It is on the floor.
Just a question, Mr. Chair, and for the committee coordinator, did we adopt the motion under 5.1? I know it was on the floor, or is that done later?
We do it.
I believe we did.
Yeah.
I think they carried it already. Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just wanted to make sure we didn't miss a step.
No, we didn't miss a step.
Okay.
Okay, I'll look to our coordinator to.
So Atir, if you want to step up to the mic. So just to clarify before we begin, Atir, these are requests for extensions of time for the penalties that you received. And please state your name for the record.
Athir Gorgis.
Do you solemnly declare and affirm that the evidence you will provide to the tribunal will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth today?
Yes.
Perfect. Please proceed.
Okay, Mr. Popple.
As stated by the committee coordinator, this is a request for an extension. So these are two administrative monetary penalties that were issued in relation to the short-term rental accommodations bylaw, the appeals were not filed within the appropriate timeline. And we have the property owner is here to request an extension for each of those appeal or fines to give him the opportunity to file an appeal for a hearing at a later date. So I
So
will.
do you want to proceed with your information or are you willing to?
In terms of policy in this matter, if the committee grants the extensions, one or both, then there would be a required $500 payment for each appeal prior to the appeals going forward. So it would be, in my opinion, that it would be scheduled for a later date.
Sir, are you, that's what you want and agreeable with it? Do you have anything to add? No?
Need an extension.
Yeah, I think this is your opportunity, sir, to explain to the committee why you need an extension. So I think they're going to want to hear more than just, I need an extension. You're going to have to provide them with reasons for that, for them to consider.
And just to clarify, I didn't receive anything other than the request form for the extension of time. So this is your opportunity to kind of explain those details.
So there was 3 fines in total. And the last time I came, the documents I was presented is we were going to deal with all 3 fines at the same time. But that wasn't the case. They made a mistake on the paperwork. And we only dealt with the 1 case. So I missed that window of dealing with the other 2. So I need an extension to deal with the other 2 at a later date.
Any? John, do you have anything to add?
Yes, so we were here previously for 1 matter under this bylaw. So there was 1 appeal fee paid for 1 appeal. So the other 2 matters wouldn't have been on the agenda. Unfortunately, there was a clerical error and we had the wrong information. So the township was not ready to proceed with that. I believe the committee made a decision to cancel that initial fine as there was no evidence to uphold that administrative monetary penalty. We are prepared to proceed with these other 2 if an extension has been granted. Yes, it is the 3rd fine under the bylaw for violations of the short-term rental bylaw.
Any member have any questions?
Mr. Chair, through you, Mr. Popple, he has not, if he wants an extension, he's still going to have to pay the proper fee per item or per assessed monetary penalty before he proceeds with that any further as far as the township is concerned.
That's correct. So he would have to go away today, fill out this form, either 2 of them, and then $500 each for each appeal.
Sir, when you were here last time, you were prepared at that time to discuss all 3?
Yes, and I'm prepared today too.
You are prepared today.
But he just hasn't paid, done the application, his timeframes.
I can
Right
pay
out,
for it
yes.
now if need be.
I see.
It's just like 2 hours driving every time.
I know.
Yeah.
2 hours.
I realize. Thank you.
Robert?
I'm a little confused, sir. You said you were prepared last time, but you hadn't filed the fee for the other appeals.
I was under the impression that we were doing all 3 at the same time because I was presented with all 3 cases here. There was a critical error on the administration
I
side.
understand why they didn't proceed with the first one, but you only paid the fee for 1, the appeal fee. Is that correct?
That's correct. So, and when he would have received his appeal hearing notice, it would have been for 1 matter and 1 matter only. So he paid $500 for that first one and received a hearing notice for 1 matter.
So you know that you couldn't have proceeded because you only had 1 hearing on the agenda. Do you understand?
I did not know that I had to make 3 separate payments. I was under the impression it's 1 hearing, 3 penalties.
Thank you.
So if we proceed today, I'm not sure what happens with the
We
monetary.
can't,
We
we
can't.
can't proceed today. Jacob,
So through you, Chair, to Ann. If we were to grant Mr. Gorgis an extension on his 2 penalties today, he will have to file requests for an appeal with me. And then we'll have to schedule an additional hearing, likely sometime in the new year, to deal with these penalties, if that were to be the tribunal's decision. It's just standard procedure, sir.
unfortunately, like you don't have to come to the actual meeting, you can do it through Zoom. So you can save the 2-hour trip.
That's
Can you not?
That's
right?
something that we can look into
Oh.
possibly, to do it via Zoom, as obviously in this circumstance, Mr. Gorgis has been here twice already. But that is something that the chair and the tribunal coordinator can handle that.
I think that's something that we should be able to offer you going forward, because you have been here twice now and it will be a third time. And as you said, it's an hour drive each way, so 2 hours plus your time here. I think that's something that we should be able to offer you, and we'll have that discussion and then let you know, because it's only fair, right?
Mr. Chair, could I, through you
Yeah.
to Mr. Popple, does the township have its documentation ready for this? Or will that be done after the applicant has paid the fee for the assisted monetary penalties?
Yeah, through the chair, typically we would, once we get notice of the hearing, then we create the files to go forward. So that's our general practice.
Very good, sir. Thank you.
Any further discussion? Okay. We'll let you know in writing, and I'm sure Jacob will be in touch with you in the next day or so, or whatever, to let you know what's going on, and we'll hopefully be able to arrange a Zoom so that you can join us through Zoom and save that trip up here, especially in the wintertime. Okay,
That would be if it's granted.
if it's granted, right? I think that's it.
Thanks, Chair.
So I guess we have to go into closed session. So I have a recommendation that the Romero Appeals Tribunal go into closed session at 9:37 a.m. 10:37. Let's discuss a personnel matter in accordance with section 239(2)B of the Municipal Act. Can somebody move that for me? Randy?
Well,
Robert?
That's Robert moved it. I'll
Oh,
second.
okay. All in favor? Okay, we're in closed session, so. Okay. Yes, it is. Okay, recommendation that the Mayor Appeals Tribunal rise and report from closed session at 11 a.m. And the recommendation that the Romero Appeals Tribunal discuss personnel matters regarding file number 2023-11, -12, and -13, and Minister of Monetary Penalties in accordance to section 239(2)B of the Municipal Act, and that staff proceed as directed. Can I have somebody move that for me?
I'll second.
Okay, Robert, Randy, all in favor?
Can I get movers and seconders for rise and report as well?
That was on the whole thing, right? No?
No, I had separate
Okay, two
motion.
different motions. Can I have somebody move? Ann, Randy? All in favor? Okay. And any new or unfinished business? Seeing none. Recommendation for adjournment that the Romero Appeals Tribunal adjourn at 11:02 a.m. Seconded, all in favor?
Just one moment. We had closed session minutes that we had to approve as well.
Closed session
Closed
minutes?
session
I didn't think
minutes.
last time we went into closed session. or is that from?
We just had the closed session minutes,
September? Okay.
yeah, from September that needed a mover and seconder to approve.
Okay, closed minutes of dated September 13th be approved as Robert presented. Randy, all in favor? Passed. Sorry. We adjourned at 11:03. We've already moved that. All in favor? Passed.
Jacob, I'm gonna leave my